So my name is Kim Quick, and welcome to the step-by-step plan I used to marry the man of my dreams at the age of 52, even when I was single for almost 15 years. And it's actually the first time I ever got married. And so I'm so happy to be sharing this with you tonight. I'm going to make sure I'm going to mute everybody. And let's see. I think I got everything going. Everything looks good. Woo! Okay. So what I like to start off is I like to share a little bit about me and my story, because so you can just get a, why, who am I and why am I sharing this message, right? So I found myself, I was around 40. I had never been married, and I, was out there dating. It wasn't like I wasn't out there dating. I dated a lot. I mean, I was online dating. I was asking people to fix me up, and they did. And I was going out, getting myself out there. And, at the time, I was actually a CPA. I worked in the corporate America. And I try to keep myself in shape. I'm not a bad looking woman. And for the life of me, I could not meet a good guy. I seemed to meet men that had emotional issues. They couldn't commit. They didn't treat me as a priority. Cheap. I mean, and I'm sure you ladies have been through this too, right? Like, it just seemed like all the men have some type of issues. And I really, I didn't understand why. And it scared me. I was scared. I was like, is this how it's going to be? Like, I'm going to end up being alone for the rest of my life. Like, why the hell is this so freaking hard? It shouldn't be this hard. And I remember I was dating this one man off and on for about 2 years, and there was never a commitment. We had great sex together. We'd get together, and I'm the one that did most of the work all the time. I'm pretty much, I called him, and never met his friends, never met his family. But and you think I would have gotten this after, a year or two, but I didn't have the tools that I have now. And I was in the hope of this was going to turn into something. And I remember one time I got a Christmas card from him, and I was actually happy I got a freaking Christmas card from him, because it was like, oh my God, he likes me, but I wasn't spending Christmas with him. And I remember, I eventually got the nerve to ask him. We slept together, and the next morning he stayed over. It was like, I think it was the first time he ever stayed over for 2 years. And I just said to him, like, hey, I'm looking for a long-term relationship. What are you looking for? And he's like, oh, I'm really busy. I don't, have time, one of those excuses. And so I was like, you know what? I said to myself, okay, I'm done. I was sad about it, but somewhat relieved that I finally, had an answer. And 2 weeks later, I'm on the phone with a friend of mine, and she tells me he got engaged. And, I was so heartbroken that I had to, like, I couldn't even talk. I started crying so bad I had to get off the phone. That feeling like your heart was just been ripped out. And the biggest thing that, that devastated me was, it wasn't that this man didn't want a commitment. He didn't want it with me. And he really was using me. He used me the whole freaking 2 years, that that I was with him. And I allowed it. And it didn't stop there. I kept dating that same man. You know what they say, that same man with a different face? The man that didn't want to commit to me. I ended up dating this guy. He was going, he recently gone through a divorce. I used to call him the come here and go away man, because one minute he wanted to have a relationship with me, the next minute he didn't. And so finally I was like, you know what? I'm done. I can't keep doing this. I'm going to get down to the bottom of why this is happening. Why do I keep finding myself in this pattern of being with these types of men? And so now I was taking responsibility, and because in the past I'd be like, oh, these freaking men, they're jerks, there's no good ones out there. And that never really helps us when we're coming from that place. But when we can start to say, you know what can I do here? I want to take a look at myself. That's what I did. I took courses, I had coaches, I researched, and really discovered some key areas that were missing, and why I was dating these types of men, and why I could not attract a quality man. And with that, lo and behold, I ended up going, I had taken a 6-month break and went back on Match.com, and 2 weeks later met my husband, and you can see a picture of him. And and when I went online with everything that I learned, because I actually had researched a lot about online dating, understanding men, how to be in your feminine, and how was I representing myself out there. And 5 men came up when I did this search on Match.com, only 5. And he was the 3rd guy that I ended up going out with. And this was a man that called me on Tuesday to go out on Saturday. This was a man that he wooed me, wined me, dined me, generous, kind. When there was, and I could share things with him, like there was a connection, and something bothered me, I could tell him about it, and he totally adored me. And how I knew this was, he called me, he wanted to change the date from Friday to Saturday. And normally in the past, I would have been like, oh yeah, sure, you can change the date. And I would have rearranged my schedule because I liked him. I didn't want to rock the boat. But not this time, because you know what? I had new tools. And this time I just really nicely, I said, I'm sorry, I'm not available and I can't see you till next week. And he was like, okay, and it has to do something with work of why he couldn't. He said he wanted to change the date. Well, he called me 2 hours later and said, I was able to change everything and I can keep our date on Friday. Well, my jaw dropped and I was thinking to myself, this shit works. Because I never had a man that wanted to move mountains for me. He didn't want to wait to see me till next week. And he, and I stepped up to the plate because I honored myself. I honored my boundaries. I valued myself, and I did it in a feminine way. And he stepped up to the plate to the man that I wanted, that I desired. And then, of course, we had dated for several years and ended up getting married for the first time at the age of 52. And still today, we've been together, it's been almost 7 years, and it's still going strong. It's harmonious, fulfilling. We have great sex. He's my best friend, supportive, loves, adores me, follows me around the house. He just totally loves me. And so that's what I'm going to share with you tonight. Like, what did this take to have this happen? And I'm going to go over all the steps with you as much as I can, like, because we have about 45 minutes. So I'm going to try to give you everything I can. So, and oh, there we go. The PowerPoint. So this is for you. Like, you know, if you've been dating for a long time and you keep meeting these men with issues or can't commit, like maybe, you know, you're out there dating, you're doing online dating, that's not working out. Maybe you just recently ended a relationship and it was a sucky relationship and you're like, I can't believe this happened again. Like, I fell for that narcissist, or you fell for the man who thought he was going to give you commitment, or whatever that is, right? And, you know, and again, I'm not saying, like, yeah, there's some jerky men out there, right? But there's good ones too. And that's what you want to find, is the good ones. And, you know, maybe you're thinking, you know what, I don't even want to date anymore. I just want to give up because it's so frustrating, and you're hurt. You've been really hurt. And, you know, especially you're doing online dating and the ghosting and the rejection and the lying. And you just, you know, you're tired of it, right? Because you know, you really just deep down want to meet a man that loves you for you and desires you, and he's checking all the boxes. Maybe too, you really struggle with boundaries like I did, and you're not able to communicate what you desire. And that's so key to having a quality man. And I'll share why that is. And maybe, you know, maybe you're out there like I was, and you keep working hard at it, and you keep coming up short, and you're just ready to throw in the towel. And what I'm here to say is, don't throw in the towel, because you can meet an amazing man. You can meet the one for you. Whatever that is, because everybody's different. But I'm here to give you hope that you can have it. And so the next 45 minutes, I am going to share with you everything that I learned from going, you know, where I was single for 15 years before I met my husband. And in the cycle of bad relationships, and we'll discuss, and how you can have hope and trust again, because that's one of the things that's probably missing right now, is that you have lost hope and trust to even meet the one, and how that you are capable of finding a true love that will last, and that there's nothing wrong with you. Because that was something that I would think too. I was like, God, maybe I just can't, maybe I'm not meant to be in a relationship. And that is not true. So stop telling yourself that. How do you avoid these men with issues, or are not emotionally available, or lack the desire to commit? And know that you do not have to settle no matter what. I mean, this is a no settling zone here. And there is a reason why that if you do find yourself being with these types of men, there is something going on, and it's a combination of not knowing the signs, and I'm going to explain that, and some ways that you might be thinking. How do you navigate this dating process? Well, I see I have an error on here on my PowerPoint. Sorry about that. How do you navigate the dating process with confidence and ease? Because that's one of the things too, like when we've been out there dating and it's not working, we feel frustrated. How do we do this easier, right? We don't want to go on a million, you know, be swiping a million swipes or messages or getting a million texts, and, you know, how do we meet men that are relationship ready, because that's the key. And there are signs that they are relationship ready, right? Sometimes from the beginning, and we don't know those signs. And there we go. How do you connect more to that softer side of you? Because we all have it. And flirt authentically to easily attract a high quality man that you desire. Because a lot of times we feel that, you know, maybe I don't know how to flirt. I don't know how to connect to the softer side. And I feel like I'm just faking it. And we don't want you to fake it. We want it to come from within. And so I'm going to show you how you can do that. Now, how are you feeling? Like what, if you're on, you know, let me just back up for a second. Are you feeling burned out, tired, and pulled in many directions between work and family and no time for romance, or struggling to meet someone? Because a lot of it, you know, if you're successful and you're working a lot, you might be thinking, I don't have time to date. Or if you're taking care of, you might, you know, a lot of people, you know, women are on this call or in their 40s, 50s, and 60s. You might be taking care of a parent right now, or maybe you're still taking care of your kids, and you're finding it really hard to date. And maybe you've tried everything. Therapy, you've actually might have even hired a matchmaker. You're watching all the podcasts, you're on the webinars, you're reading the books, and you're still falling short in meeting a good man for you. And then you might be, even when I talk about online dating, you might be thinking, cringing right now. Like, you know what? I'm tired of wasting my time. I'm tired of these bad dates. And maybe, you know, you're so like frustrated, but you just don't even want to talk about it anymore. And you're just like, you put a smile on at work, or, you know, your everyday life, but deep down, you know, you're going home and you're going home alone and you're feeling really sad about it. And I know I used to feel very sad, and I used to be depressed sometimes on the weekends, and especially Sundays. They were like the times I felt the worst down. And I'm only sharing this with you is that we're in this together. You're not alone if you're feeling this way. And maybe you are feeling burned out, and you just don't want to deal with another jerk and a liar and a man with issues, which I had, I don't know, hundreds of those. And maybe you bury yourself in your work because you know you can be successful at that. You know you're great at that. Let me just focus on that. I feel good at that. Or maybe there's other things, like we will distract ourselves and not make love a priority because we're sick of being hurt and we're sick of the frustration. And maybe you feel no matter what you do, you can't fix it. And you wonder, if you might end up being alone for the rest of your life, just like I did. I had all these feelings, and I'm sure, ladies, if you want to type in the chat right now that you're feeling the same way, I would. Because let everybody else, we're in this together, we're a community, and who else is feeling this way? Because let's connect to, all these feelings that we're having, because you know what? You have a right to have these feelings. And that's actually one of the things, to start connecting with our feelings, and I'm going to be talking about that more. Okay. Yes, look, we have some people in the chat saying, yes, I'm feeling this way. I'm feeling this way too, right? Okay. Now, I'm going to share with you the shifts that you need to make to turn this around. And you can turn it around like that. And once you make these shifts, you will meet a man, just like I did, that wants to be there with you. He wants to grow with you. You can lean on him when you need him, when you've had a bad day, you need a shoulder to cry on, or someone that's going to make you laugh and smile every day. And when this man looks into your eyes, you know that you feel totally loved and adored and safe and cherished. I know, like, there was never a doubt in my mind when I was dating my husband, how much he loved and adored me. And that's a sign right there, ladies. If you have doubts with a man, that is a red flag, because he will show you in his actions how he treats you, how he adores you, how he moves mountains for you, that he loves you and he's going to be with you forever, like, for sure. And you finally have an attractive man by your side that you are deeply connected with and have intimate conversations and you can share anything with, and you know he loves and accepts you. I know, like, my husband's name is Jim. You know, he would say to me, you know what, never change. I love you just the way that you are. That's what you want. A man saying, and I never had that until him. And you have a great man that checks all the boxes, right? There's nothing missing. And he's there for you, celebrating all the big stuff, your wins at work, and going to family functions, going on vacations, and Sunday mornings, right? You get to wake up and have that amazing sex that, you know, I was, like I said, I love having those Sunday mornings. Somebody's, I'm sorry, could you mute yourself? Because, let me see. Let me mute everybody. All right, there we go. Sorry, little interruption. And technology, just gotta love it. Not working now. Okay, back. And when you make these shifts, you're going to have an extraordinary love. Like, ladies, it's the best relationship that you will ever have in your entire life. Because I'm not talking about some ordinary love. I'm talking about an extraordinary love. Harmonious, fulfilling. You know, and my husband and I, we used to say to ourselves, I used to say to him, you know what, you're my dream man. And he would say, you are my dream woman. And I mean, just like, and melting into each other's eyes. I still have some ladies coming on. Woohoo! Welcome. People are coming on. Okay. Now we're not, my thing's stuck. Okay. There we go. I have to start from again. Sorry, ladies. You can tell I am not the most technology savvy here. Okay. So I got messed up. I had to start over. Okay. So now let's talk about the shifts. These shifts that you need to make, I've seen throughout the years, for the women that, you know, I've been doing this for 5 years. I'm a dating and relationship coach. And with everything that I've learned, I pulled together what I call my Forever Love formula. And there's 5 shifts to make within that. And I'm going to try to give you everything I can tonight. So let me just get to it. I'll stop talking. One thing, you must take 100% responsibility for your love life. Now, I'm not talking about blame here. Responsibility, you know, because remember I was sharing with you, like, I kept finding these men that were having these issues. Well, you know, I had to look at, like, you know what, I'm the common denominator here. And there's something that I'm choosing these men. I choose to continue to date these men. I choose to put up with their shit. I choose to not speak up for what the things that I needed. It was all, and so life is about choices. And so when we can start to say, okay, I'm going to take 100% responsibility, and I'm going to do what it takes to put into place to make a difference here. And the thing, so you can, you know, I would write this down, or you could take a picture of it. I'm willing to accept 100% responsibility, and I'm willing to accept 100% responsibility for my love life. Woohoo! You know, because we do it and you know, we accept responsibility in other areas. Why not in our love life? Because it's not meant for the cards, or let me just throw some mud against the wall and hopefully it sticks. It does come back to us, and you're not to blame. There's no blame here. It's not your fault where you're at because you have not been told about these shifts. Nobody talks about this stuff, right? Okay, the next shift is what I call release your single string. And I want you to imagine this string. And the string starts at your ankle and it wraps around the calf, around your hip, up to your chest, and now it's like around your neck. And this string is full of, it has bundles of threads, and these threads are really your beliefs that you've had from a very early age. Like I said, it started at 5, and it's embedded. It's embedded in you. You don't see it. It's getting in the way. And this is one of the reasons why, number one, we struggle being in your feminine. And this is, I want to talk about this at a more deeper level. And I've never really shared this on any webinar. This is something very new and something that I'm seeing. This, what I call your single string, and I said it's these beliefs that you have, right? So, and why it's hard for us to be in our feminine, because I know some of you on the call are probably reading and listening to podcasts and following people about, okay, I got to be in my feminine if I want to meet a quality man. But in order to be in your feminine, you've got to be vulnerable. You have to have an open heart. You have to be in a place of where you value yourself. Because if you're just out there practicing doing, that's not going to work. So, and one of the things of where we're, you know, and I'll give you an example, right? One of the things that happened to me, my single string was I didn't value myself and I didn't feel that I was important. And so, and that happened at a very early age, about, you know, because my dad had abandoned me. And, you know, you might not have something so serious, but as a child, because we're not mature enough, we're not able to discern things, we make things mean things. Like, even like you're on the playground and you didn't get picked for the team, and so now you make it mean that there's something wrong with you. Or maybe, you know, for whatever reason, your parents might have favored your sister or your brother. We make it mean something about ourselves. And that's the single string. And what happens is that now that you made it mean something, you go through life, you keep proving it over and over again, just like I did when I felt like I wasn't important. I kept proving that with each man, with a non-committal man. And so then I don't have an open heart. I'm scared. I'm afraid of a commitment because I keep doing this over and over again. I'm feeling I'm not important. Well, how can I be in my feminine? Because being in your feminine is being vulnerable. It's being open-hearted. It's surrendering. It's allowing. It's being receptive. And I'll explain a little bit more why this is important to attract a quality man. Actually, you know what? I'll tell you right now. Men are looking, you know, men are masculine, right? And they have a masculine energy. Women normally have a feminine energy. It's innately in us, but we've been disconnected from it because of, you know, the women's movement. We emulated men. We thought that in order to have success in our life, that we had to emulate men to have success. And they're more driving, controlling, pushing. That's not really, our power and how we make things happen is more being open to receiving, collaborating, uh, being vulnerable, allowing, surrendering. That's why we're so freaking exhausted, because we're going against the grain of who we really are as women. And now also it's affect our relationship with men, because men innately feel good with women who are feminine. They don't want to go out on a date with someone they just left at an office, a colleague who just left at the office. They want to go be with someone who's nurturing and vulnerable and empathetic, and not somebody who's going to give him advice, tell him what he should do, trying to control him, drive, because sometimes we can get into our manager mode when we're out on dates. And so, or, we're so closed off, we're not open to receiving because we're afraid of getting hurt. I remember one time I was out to dinner and a man wanted to try to butter my bread for me, and I almost chopped his finger off because I was like, I can butter my own bread. Damn it. I don't need you, because we want to honor our independence. And I had a mom that said, be independent. Don't count on a man. Well, what did that leave me? Because, here I was single for so long because I couldn't count on a man. And we're not saying, men do want independent and they want smart women. And we need to connect to that side of ourselves so that a man feels good with us. And also, that's when a man feels safe with you and he feels deeply connected with you. And so this could be part of the reason why you go out on these dates and you don't hear back, you get ghosted, because you're disconnected. You're not connected to the feminine, and you're not connected to your feelings, because we have been pushing our feelings down for so long, we're disconnected from them. And we've been actually taught to disconnect from our feelings because, you remember when you were younger, if we cried, we were told, stop crying. Or if you were told you were emotional or angry, we were always told to stop doing that. Or even worse, I remember, stop crying or I'll give you something to cry about, right? And, it's kind of crazy. And so and then we go along and we're afraid to show our feelings because maybe when we showed our feelings, we were criticized or pushed, told us not to do it. And so now our feelings are like, I don't know what to do with them. They're uncomfortable. I don't know how to deal with them. I don't even want to deal with them. I'm going to go watch TV or drink or whatever we want to do. And sometimes we work a lot to not even be in touch with our feelings. But I'm telling you, this is the key to attracting a man that's emotionally connected, an evolved man, a quality man, a masculine man that wants to protect you, adore you, honor you, provide for you, is connecting to your feelings, connecting to the essence of you, your femininity. This is where it's at, ladies. It's one of the biggest things. And so, and I talk about this is another thing, we will intimidate men if we're not connected to these feelings and we can't be vulnerable. Well, the other thing too is when we're not connected to our feelings, it's hard for us to express them. Because men want to hear, they want to hear what you have to say. They want to make you happy, but they can't make you happy if you can't share with them in a way that's soft and feminine and connected to your feelings to give you what you want. And they trust women that can share their feelings because they know if you're not sharing your feelings, they can tell, and they might not know exactly what it is, but they can tell something's off and they won't trust you to want to make a commitment with you. And this is why too, we're accepting these crumbs because, we're not connected to our feelings and you have these fears that you can't find anything better. So we settle. So this is all connected to, I gotta take a sip of water, excuse me. So this is all, the single string is all connected to being feminine, being connected to our feelings. And some of these feelings we have, you know, they are from the past. And one of the biggest things we want to do is release some of these feelings that are disempowering us, these feelings of not feeling good enough, not worthy, not being, feeling valued, not feeling safe, maybe even angry, resentful, judgmental, all of these feelings, and it's all connected to the body and the mind. And so we want to release these feelings. We want to be able to be with these feelings. And that's what's going to have you be able to be in your feminine, be vulnerable, be open, and have the man of your dreams. Now, is this uncomfortable in the beginning? Especially if you've been through some trauma, to be able to be with your feelings? Yeah, it is. But I'll tell you, it's worth it, because you're going to live, not only you'll attract the man of your dreams, but you're going to live a much more filling life, and you're going to be more at peace. And this, I want to share a story. Like, here's Deborah, a psychologist, worked on herself a lot. She's been through therapy. She teaches at a college. Struggled. She'd been through 2 divorces. She was in a relationship that didn't work out. When she came to me, she was like, Kim, I can see I'm struggling in my femininity. I need some help. And so her and I worked together, and we deep down, we found that she had a narcissistic mom. She didn't love herself. We worked on that. In the beginning, she didn't want to do online dating, but she ended, okay, I'm going to give it a try. And she ended up meeting somebody on our time, and she happily got married at 60. And this is the best relationship she's ever had in her entire life. And this is what I'm talking about, ladies. This is where you're finding the man of your dreams. The other thing, having high standards is so important. You know, there's studies out there that saying having high standards leads to better, satisfying, lasting marriages. We were very picky about other things in our lives. Why not with the man that we're going to spend the rest of our life with? You know, and I see a lot where we'll say, oh yeah, he's checking all the boxes, but he wasn't checking the box of wanting a commitment and treating you as a priority. That's got to be one of the boxes, because you're going to end up getting hurt and not be with the right man. So you want to have the high standards. And so why don't we have high standards? Well, we haven't been taught to have high standards and that you're worthy to have them. We've been actually taught to settle. You're not in touch with your inner self and to the deeper truth of what you really want. And so that goes back to the feelings. We're not crystal clear what we want at a soul level, because we can get too wrapped up in, oh, he's got to have hair, he's got to be tall. No, we want a man that treats us like gold, and he's generous and kind and financially stable, and he's open to growth. These are the things that we want to be looking for in a man. And maybe you believe you have to settle too, because especially for us ladies in the 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s, we think that there are men want younger women. If we meet somebody and they're giving us half of what we're looking for, we think we have to settle. And I'm saying right now, that's bullshit. I'm going to share a story with you with somebody that met at 71, met a man younger than her. I'll get to that when I'll show you that. But make sure, you know, in your list of qualities, it's more about compatibility, values, and what does it take? What kind of man, what's a relationship ready man? Well, you'll know he wants to be in a relationship by his actions, and he's open to growth, and he's excited to see you. Sarah, she ended up finding love late 50s within 30 days on Match.com. And one of the things, she was not being clear in what she wanted. So even like, this is why we're struggling with online dating, is because we're not crystal clear what we want, and we go on there and we're reading the profiles, and we're just, you know, maybe accepting any man on there. And so you want to make sure that even online, and I'm going to talk about that in a second. So let me move on because we're running out of time, and I want to try to give you everything. This is what I call my love map strategy. And so I'm going to keep going with this. But bottom line is, we need dating skills and relationship skills. We're not taught this. You know, I remember in grade school, I mean, the only thing we got was sex ed. We weren't taught how to date, especially nowadays. Like, how do we deal with the online dating? So many things going on, the texting and the ghosting, and how do we deal with these situations? How do we deal with a man that's coming on too strong? You know, my mom never taught me that. She never sat me down and said, hey, you know, if this happens, you do this in dating. You know, it's like we're throwing mud against the wall. And we want to be dating with, I call it intention. You have a plan, you go out there, follow the plan, and then you have skills to navigate, so you're not wasting your time with the wrong men. You're dating quality men, the right men, and then you're choosing the man that you want to spend the rest of your life with. And this is why I say you should be dating a couple men at once. What ends up happening, we meet a man after a couple dates, and the guy says, let's, you know, you and I this date, and then you take yourself out of the game, and then a couple months down the road, you find out he's got these hidden issues, and now you got to start all over. It's best to date a couple men for a couple months, and then you're learning about yourself, you're learning about men, you're getting clear on what you want, because you're going to be seeing things that maybe you didn't think of, and then you're in such a position, you're feeling confident, at ease, and you're just like, you know, you don't care if the other guy doesn't call you, because you got this some other guy down, you know, you got a couple other dates lined up. So that's what you want to be doing. And I talked about that already. I'm not going to share that. I'm going to talk about online dating. You know, I know that a lot of you are feeling that it doesn't work because it hasn't happened. But I know, you know somebody that's met somebody online. So there's a part of you who know it works. And me, I met somebody on Match.com. All my clients meet their amazing men on Match.com or Our Time online. So it does work. You just haven't been taught how to do it. And so actually, yeah, 30% of people that got married met online. Couples are actually happier that met online because you're able to really be compatible. The benefits of online dating, let's look at that first. You have a huge pool of potential men to date rather than you would ever assemble on your own. Like, you're never, like, you can meet, you know, hundreds, thousands of men online. Where are you going to go to ever have that pool of men? You can drill down to exactly what you are looking for and pre-screen them in. Matchmaking can be very expensive and the results are very low, especially women in their 40s and 50s, 60s. It's matchmaking it doesn't work. And I'm sorry if you invested it and here you are now. But the good news is you could turn it around. One of my clients came to me, she had a matchmaker. She'd been through divorces, relationships. The matchmaker was sending her bad matches. She came to me. She ended up meeting somebody within 30 days of us working together. She followed the rule of dating a couple men, even though she liked this guy and he liked her. 2 months later, she decided to be committed to him. 3 months later, she's engaged, and now she's going to get married. It happened like that. And she met him on Match.com. And the other thing, you can meet men in the comforts of your home. You can come home with a nice glass of wine or a cup of tea and sit in your pajamas, and you could have a date in 2 days. So there's a lot of benefits to online dating. Now, how does it work? And now I can't get this thing to... How can you have fun if you follow my 5-step process? Number 1, you got to find the right site uniquely for you. Now, that can be different in different parts of the country. So if you're new and you're like, I want to try online dating, you might want to ask some of your friends where they're getting good results in their area. Because some places, OkCupid on the East Coast, OkCupid works. Some places, Bumble works. Match.com, sometimes, most of the time it works, but I was just working with a client and Match.com didn't work for her. Bumble works better. So you try a couple of them out. And see, where you're finding quality men in your area. You have to have the right pictures, good lighting, nice colors, red or pink, feminine, sexy, no more than 6 pictures. We don't need about 20. And I really do recommend that you get them professionally done. Get at least a headshot professionally done. Maybe it costs you $60, $100. And having a full body shot, and then some shots that are doing activity. But they got to be good, ladies, because you got to think about it. Men are visual. This is what they're seeing the first time they're seeing you. And it doesn't matter what their pictures are. I know they're not the best, but we're talking about you. This is what you can change about you. You have to have an enticing and authentic profile where men are going to be drawn to it. They're going to read it and be like, wow, I want to date her. I could see myself falling in love. You have to use the search. When you're searching for men, you know what you want. You have your 5 top non-negotiables. You are looking for that when you are screening those men on those sites. And you can screen them before the first date through the messaging. You're asking questions. You get on the phone before the date, you're asking questions. This is what we're talking about, intentional dating. You have an intention. I'm looking for the one. I don't have time. Of course, we don't want to be an interrogator, right? But you can do it in a way that you're coming from curiosity, that you can screen these men before you even have a date. And that's where you're going to save time. The other thing, you have to flirt online. You got to connect, remember, to our feminine. Be playful, be fun, be enticing. When you're messaging the men, messaging back and forth, that's what's going to have them respond. That's what's going to have you have, you do that through texting. Whoops, there goes my microphone. Sorry about that, ladies. I talk with my hands. You can tell I'm Italian and from New Jersey. So that's what's going to have you have, how you handle things too. Like when you do it playfully, when a man's texting too much and you're not able to you're not getting a phone call, you can playfully remind him, hey, I'd like to talk to you in person. But you got to do it in a playful, feminine way, not in a like frustrated, mad way, okay? Okay, maybe something happened to my screen. Karen, now this is a great example I want to share with you ladies. 71, she's a widow, and she was single for 5 years. She wanted to have another connection. She had a great relationship with her late husband, but she wanted to experience that again, but she was struggling with online dating. She felt that she had to settle because of her age. We really worked on her valuing herself, what is it that she really wanted in a man in a relationship. And within 3 months, she met a man. He was actually 70. And it's a year later, because I always stay in touch with the ladies that we work together, and they're still going strong to this day. So it has nothing to do with with age. Men, there are men. Now I'm going to say that there are men that want younger women. I'm not going to, we're not going to lie about that. But there are men that want women your age too. They want that doesn't matter to them. The other thing that's important, find yourself a mentor. We have mentors, we have personal trainers, we have mentors in our career. The best thing that's going to happen that's going to help you is to have a dating mentor. Either, you can work with me, or maybe you can connect with somebody that has a successful marriage, but either hire somebody or connect with somebody that's going to give you feedback. Because here's the thing, ladies, we can't see past our shit, right? I curse a little bit, so I apologize if that bothers you, but we can't see beyond ourselves. We can't see what we're not doing right. And so you need somebody that's going to be honest with you, because our girlfriends are probably telling us what we want to hear, and half of them don't know what they're talking about. But you want somebody that has a great marriage, that knows a little bit about dating or knows a lot, and that can guide you. Somebody that can encourage you, that can lift you up, that can hold you accountable to what you want, and to steer you in the right direction so you don't get off the wrong path, because we can do that. So now you have a choice. I've given you lots of information here, and information is great. But what's going to make the difference is transformation. It's being able to utilize this information and and transform it and change it. Because you can take this and try to do it on your own, and you could slip, right? Or you could sit and watch TV because you're like, screw this dating. Or you might fall back into dating the same man with a different face. Or you can really be committed, take the responsibility, start implementing this, making the changes. That's what's going to make the difference. And you can do it. I'm here to tell you, I'm inspiring you. If I can do it with all those jerky men that I dated, you can too. So if you want help implementing this, if you want a mentor and you want to talk to me, I would love to. And so I set aside my schedule for the next week. Oh, I don't have my thing here. Okay. So I set aside my schedule for the next week. If you would like to schedule a call with me, and I'm going to put it in the chat. It's, let me just take this off. Can you guys still hear me? Hopefully. If you can't, let me know. It's called, to schedule a call with me, I'm going to put it in the chat too, because I only have so many spots. This isn't working. Oh, here we go. foreverloveformula.com, and then there's a backslash apply. So I put that in the chat. You can schedule a call. I mean, it's about 45 minutes, but I'm going to talk to you about what's your single string? What are you dealing with in your love life? And see if I can help you and support you and getting what you want very quickly. Like I said, the ladies that work with me find love within 30, 60, 90 days. Let's stop this bullshit of this dating. Let's get serious. Let's be intentional with our dating, and let's find the ones who you can be sharing your life with somebody, going on vacations with, going, you know, I mean, just imagine, you know, you introduce this man to your family and you have this big smile on your face and you're just thinking, oh my God, I finally found the one. I can't wait to introduce them to my friends because I'm so sick of them saying, you know, why the hell haven't you met somebody, right? But more importantly, that you fulfilled on your dream of having an amazing and experiencing the most amazing relationship that you can ever have. So thank you, ladies, for being here. Oh, let me open it up. If you guys have some questions, I have a few minutes. Please ask me any questions in the chat first. I'm going to, if you have questions in the chat, Elizabeth, yes, she's asking me a question. I'm just answering a question in the chat. Elizabeth was asking about my coaching program. So the best thing to do, ladies, is schedule a call with me and I'll tell you about what I have, my coaching program. It's hard for me to share everything on here. I just don't have time. So if you could just schedule a call with me, I'd be happy to talk to you about what are you specifically dealing with, okay? We'll talk on the phone because everybody has a unique situation, right, that you're dealing with. You know, some of us have different things that have happened to us. And so is anybody, I'm going to open up the call, the mute for a few minutes because I'm not seeing many people with the, because maybe you're on the phone. I'm going to unmute. Okay, I'm just unmute for a second. Does anybody have any questions? Just say your name, say hi, this is Kim, and I have a question. Nobody has any questions? Well, maybe you don't feel right.
Hi.
Yes. Who's
Hi.
there?
Hi.
Hi.
This is Lily.
Hi, Lily.
I've enjoyed your presentation.
Thank you.
I have, I will let people know that my experience says you are very right, a matchmaker. I paid a company $2,300 and it's been over 3.5 years and I have not had one date. And they won't give me my money back. They won't do anything about it. They finally told me that I'm in my late 60s and they said, well, no men want to date anybody your age. They want to date younger women because they're all professional people. Obviously, you know, your average person is not going to pay $2,300 to join a dating service. So they all want to go out with women that are 60 and 55. I have been on Match, I've been on eHarmony, I've been on OkCupid, I've been on Plenty of Fish, I've been on several others, and I've had 3 dates in 5 years. I have listened to a bunch of different coaches, I've gone to seminars. Most of them have recommended that you go through and every week or so you sit down for a couple hours and you just send out nice, happy, pleasant messages to 20 guys at a time and then another 20 guys and whatever. I don't get a response from anybody. And this has been going on for like 5 years.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry you went through that. I'm sorry too about the matchmaker. You know, you're right. I hear it all the time. Most of the time, matchmakers don't work. And I'm sorry you invested that money. And I'm sorry that it's 5 years.
It was a major ripoff.
Yeah. And
total scam.
So what I would say is, and I can't tell, you know, I I don't know what you.
Oh, I should tell you, I've had several professional people check my profile and check my pictures, and they've said this is good, this is fine.
Uh-huh. Yeah, so
I've had a girl.
Yeah, so I don't know. All I know is what I do is work. I had something to
Adams.
So please mute yourself. I'm going to mute everybody and answer your question, Lily, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Because people are talking. So I'm just going to answer Lily's question, and then and then Lily, I am going to invite you to at least have a call with me. It's for free. There's no charge for the call. And you're not obligated to sign up for any coaching programs. But I would like to talk to you. Here's the thing, and I just had a woman, she's 60, come to me, and she had been through all the courses. She did everything, and she was not she wouldn't get messages either, and men weren't responding back to her online. And so she took a leap of faith and just decided to work with me. And what we worked on that nobody else worked on was the feelings, the feeling work. And now she's like this magnetic energy. And even the way she's messaging, it's just because it's not all doing, right? It's the energy within us. Because you have to think about, we're all energy. We really are. Our bodies wouldn't work if we weren't filled with energy. And so there's a vibrational energy, and I know it sounds a little woo-woo, but it works. And so now she's got 4 guys in the pipeline that she's going to have a phone call with. She's got a second date with another man, and it's because we worked more with the inner work. It's not, and that's why the matchmaking doesn't work, because you didn't work on the inner work. So Lily, I'm going to invite you, have a call with me, foreverloveformula.com/apply. I'll be sending out an email too, so that with the link too. And let's just chat, and we'll see if I can uncover, because it's not all, the online dating, the profile, messaging, that stuff is all important. Strategy is important, but the inner work and being connected to your feelings, that's 80%. 20% is strategy, 80% is your energy. And so if you have tried everything and it's not working, I suspect that it's that. And all of us have our own little unique thing around our feelings and the things that have happened to us in our past, and you need to release that and create a new feeling. And so if you want to learn more about that, then please book a call with me, and we can chat. Thank you, ladies, for being on this call, for being committed to yourself, valuing yourself. You all are all amazing. I love you. I'm so happy to be here with you tonight. And also, I do have a Facebook group where I do give tips in there. If you'd like to join the Facebook group, I'll put it in an email, and we can still continue with this in the Facebook group. And we'll be talking about all this there. You can get some help there too. So have a good night, everybody. Thanks again. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.